I'm talking to Gavin and Brendan from the Everdale Learning Center. And Gavin, how did you get involved with this? You're actually one of the co-founders.
That's right, yeah.
Brendan's a director.
Because I didn't know any better. And I mean that seriously. I was really an adventure right from the start in farming and in community. And I didn't really think of it as a career in the early stages, and certainly didn't think of us launching an organization like the one Everdale has grown into.
What were you doing before this?
I was a student and a bit of a vagabond traveler, you know, with odd jobs and whatnot.
And so what inspired you to become a farmer or start this?
Love of farming and love of the engagement and the great community response. We were really motivated.
How did you fall in love with farming? What happened?
Well, we kind of self-taught, my wife and I. We got into it and just sort of bumbled our way through it, and ended up having the luck and good fortune to come out the other side as trained farmers, I guess you could say. But we look back on our experience and thought, well, there's probably a better way to do it, and there's probably a better way to pick up that kind of training. And so we started to dedicate ourselves to the idea of training new farmers in a really kind of straight line, cohesive, comprehensive way.
Oh, so you just wanted to help others to do the same, but easier, quicker, I guess. So Brendan, how did you get involved with farming? How did you?
Well, I guess my disclaimer is I'm not a farmer. I'm a fake farmer, but I got involved with the organization.
Farmer in training, let's call it.
You know,
FIT.
maybe an honorary farmer. We'll go with that handle. It makes me feel better, like I won't actually have to learn to farm. I worked more in a corporate world, but always had values in food and farming and community engagement. And I quit my job, took some time off, had kids, which also helped change my lens on the world, and decided when I went back to work, I wanted to do it in a value-based way. So kind of fate fell in my hand. This job came up, and they were kind enough to bring me on board. And since then, it's been a life-changing event.
Okay, let me ask you this. How easy is it to become a farmer? Like for me, I'm a photojournalist. I go around. My weekends are not on the farmer land, or, you know, it's like going to events. So how could I part-time learn, or if I wasn't doing this, how easy and soon can I learn to reasonably farm to get results?
I think it takes about 4 or 5 years to learn how to be a farmer, generally speaking.
Really?
Is one way of looking at it, similar to other careers. So there's no quick, easy fix. It's not easy. Like other careers, it takes commitment, it takes love. And so I would say that in general, if you're in it just because your heart's in it, you probably won't make it as a farmer. If you're in it just because your head's in it, because you're telling yourself rationally that it's a good thing, you probably won't make it as a farmer. But if your heart's in it, you have passion, and your head's in it, and you're really hard-headed about your planning and your business planning and your skills development and the way you're running your farm business, then it's not easy to become a farmer, but the potential is there for you to do and have a great life.
So you're saying, Gavin, it's going to take about 4 years to learn the nuts and bolts of how to farm 101?
As a general rule, every person's different, of course.
Well, what happens at your location here at Everdale? Say, what is it, a 4-month internship, or what are the details?
Well, we have 2 streams of farmer training. The one is the skills development, which is, you know, on the farm, putting the seed in the ground, all the process of growing and selling food. And that can happen on short term, like 1-day workshops, or 1 week long, or 3 months, or 7 months. The longer you do it, the more intensive it is. So our 7-month internship, for example, is very intensive, very curriculum based, and that's going to transform you in a significant way. A 1-day workshop is obviously not going to have the same impact, but it's still going to be a really relevant way of developing skills.
So what's the 7 months? I'm actually interested. Okay, 7 months, when I'm there every day and I'm learning how to plant kinds of seeds. Planting is one thing. What's part of the curriculum in 7 months? And do you need 7 months of that planting to then know how to make it the other 3 years successful?
Well, the curriculum is sort of a seed to market experience, a holistic experience. So it's about growing the food, but it's also about the engagement with the local community and all of the kind of social, communal aspects of local food farming. And so that's the kind of hands-on experience that you get on our farm, because Everdale operates a working farm, and that's the classroom for the whole experience. So it's a real reality check in farming. It's not a museum farm, it's not a pretend farm. You're working on a real farm with real pressures and real timelines. So that's the working part of the internship. mentorship, which is about 60% of the curriculum. The other 40% is training-based, seminars, field trips, project work, which is not directly related to growing food on our farm, but is about developing that foundational knowledge base in order to really understand the bigger picture of farming.
Okay, so help me understand the bigger picture. Break it down. 4 years, you become a proficient farmer, okay? To get to the 4 years, what do I build on in the first year, second year, third year? Is it full-time? Is it, do I go 8 months in your location for 4 years?
You just listed a lot of options. You listed, it was a really good list you gave in that question of the kinds of options that people choose. In other words, there isn't one way to become a farmer. There may be only, maybe one way to become a lawyer because it's sort of really regimented, and that's probably a good thing. I'm not judging how they train lawyers. But for farming, there's more options in how you choose your trainings and the order in which you do them and the time you take to do them.
Like, I need to know. I haven't got a clue about that whole thing, so I really actually like to understand it. How can I become a farmer in 1 year, but in a limited way, like for my own backyard, or do I need the 4 years before I can now buy my farm and do the farming experience?
I think in general, if you're coming with very little knowledge of food growing and very little knowledge of business planning and farm planning, you'll need more than a year, certainly, to have a viable chance of success. Again, it's those two streams. It's the skills training, the seed in the ground kind of training, which we do on farm, and then it's the planning that we do through courses and other things. So those two things are essential. You can't just have one or the other. You can have both together.
So do I need to, hang out at your place for 7 months out of the year for 4 years, or is it more like what's the commitment?
Speaking,
what are the options?
If someone had the luxury to be able to spend 4 full seasons on a farm or on a series of farms, they would, within those 4 seasons, see a huge range of activities and weather patterns, so on, and techniques and circumstances that would allow them to have the flexible skills to be able to go out on their own and deal with the unknowns that are always associated with farming. But that's not an option for everyone to do that, to kind of quit their lives and work on a farm for 4 months at lower pay. So there are other ways to develop those skills. The important thing is to have a passion for it and to have a clear plan. And it's about that kind of planning and perspective that we're trying to instill in people and encourage people to develop. So it's not just a whimsical, hey, I'm going to do this kind of experience.
Great. I notice you've got a Farmers Growing Farmers initiative here. Can you tell me about that?
Sure, there you are. Well, we're kind of talking about how you can go from what you've said. You're just kind of curious and you want to be part of that solution and then actually growing food. So on the back, as Gavin said, we have the 2 streams, and it does kind of tell you about if it's someone like you who wants to do a gradual thing and maybe just grow food in your backyard or on your balcony, you can do that, but there's this kind of gradation of learning. So if you decide this is your way of life and this is what you're going to do for a living, we have really intensive programs, but if you decide I want to grow some food for my family in my backyard and I want to start making a difference in my own personal life, then you come for a week or a day or 2 to learn these different trainings. But I guess it depends how you define farmer and what your thoughts about growing food are, and whether you want it to be a business and what scale you want it to be on. But any of that can be attained through our programming and other farms around the province who can help you kind of a discovery process of that.
Great, thanks. What's your website, guys?
It is www.everdale.org.
See you at Everdale.
Thank you.